Alright guys, this is going to be a whole new series, which we're actually pretty excited about. We get lots of questions, either at the boat ramp, online, our personal
What gear do we run?
Yes.
What are you guys doing? How do you do this? What's your decoy spread? What motors are you running? So it's a whole new series that we're doing at NOK, which is we're going to give you an insight of like, it's not going to be how-tos, it's not going to be too, it's going to be pretty basic of like information of how we do stuff we like, and things we actually use while we're hunting.
Just what we're using. So this is Scooter's boat, and get into it, bro.
Hell yeah, so we're going over the first video of this series is going to be, I mean, what better way to start off a new series than to talk about a duck boat and what we do for the duck hunting season. We are 60 something days away from opening, and no better way than
That's
to
crazy.
get the boat ready.
Crazy to think about.
I know, I'm so excited. So yeah, we're gonna go through and kind of talk about what we do, the steps we take to get the boat ready for the season. So obviously everyone's got their own style and ways of doing things. Between Adam, Dylan, and myself, our boats are set up 3 completely different ways in 3 completely different styles, but there are some similarities and some things I think you could take from this. We'll also be doing Dylan's boat as well. A lot of people just run this main strap here. It has its own locking mechanism. Some people run like a safety chain as a backup option in case that fails, but I always like to be on the safer side. Boats tend to like bounce around. A lot of the times when we're hunting, we're going on off-road to get to the boat ramp. So what I came up with here is I just ran 2 climbing straps, which are rated to thousands of pounds. And then we're running the boat buckles. Pretty simple setup here to release it. You push down and then you're in the water. And when you're loading up the boat, all you do is that and a quick, and you're good to go. And trust me, when it's cold outside, snowing sideways, you just want to get in your truck and get home, that is a game changer. So my boat is literally my dream come true. I spent maybe 5+ years planning this thing out, saving for it, and finally we made it happen. But I'm running a 20-foot Widowmaker boat with the 5000 Mud Buddy on it with the OB design turbo. So what that means is I have the Mud Buddy 5000 motor. It's the blackout edition. I think it came out in 2023, maybe 24. But yeah, it's a freaking badass motor. I mean, you guys have seen the videos, you've seen their stuff. These motors get through anything, swamps, mud, just the terrain they go through, the rocks they rip through, the branches. Like, if you don't want to get stuck out in the mud, this is your best bet. You throw the turbo on that thing and it will get on plane faster, it'll pull out of mud easier. Like, this to me is like the perfect setup. OB Design also has some really cool stuff coming out with the Chaos for 2026, as well as Mud Buddy has some new motors coming out, so stay tuned for those. Possibly we'll see something new on this boat in future years, but right now I am more than happy with this setup. So that's what motor we're running. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But for a 20-foot boat, I wanted to make sure I had that power. A lot of people are running the 4000s with turbo. They're a little bit more reliable, to be said, but the 5000s are just as reliable. And if you guys talk to OB Design, they can vouch for that. I've had 0 problems with this thing, so if you want to go big. And then jumping into the boat, we ran 20 feet. I had Chuck over at Widowmaker do a custom setup here. The biggest thing was I wanted enough room to kind of do anything. If we were to take this thing to Louisiana and get some gators, we could throw some gators in here. If we want to jump over to Strawberry and do some fly fishing or just fish off the front, I did the big 10-foot deck on here to kind of mimic like a bass boat a little bit. As well as we do something kind of fun, which you'll see a lot in these videos. We put a layout blind on the front of these boats. You can run 2 layout blinds, and then you just pop over some reeds and you hunt off the front of the boat instead of hunting the hole out of the blind. So yeah, I kind of took all that into consideration. One thing I did was I hunted on a lot of buddies' boats and saw what I liked and didn't like. One thing I really looked for is while I'm hunting, I wanted a gun box that would also second as kind of like a deck or like a bench to set things on. So we sit on this side, and then we use this obviously to keep things dry and hold stuff. but then this kind of becomes a bench for us to set things on, keep cameras on, hold your coffee, whatnot. So yeah, and then obviously we're running a big hole up here. I wanted to keep everything hidden, so you know, keeps everything empty and clean. So yeah, I like having the big hole. Some people run decoys in here, but I'll show you what we do with our decoys and why we don't put things in here and kind of the reasoning behind that. I think the more room you have in here, the better, because when you take guys hunting, sometimes guys who don't go hunting a lot have the tendency to bring a lot of stuff out, and that's a way to kind of put their shit away so it's not in the way. Then yeah, obviously I went with the U back seat, or the U bench. What I like about this is it gives opportunity where, like, you know, if the wife and I are out, sometimes she'll sit there, we can have conversation. She's not being bounced around in the front of the boat. It definitely offers a lot of mobility. A lot of the times you're in a situation where you have to get the boat unstuck. What I do, because I'm a little guy, I don't have the leverage that Adam and Dylan have with their body weight. So I will tuck my feet under here and here, and then use my whole body to leverage back and forth to move the boat. So if I didn't have the U-bench, I couldn't do that. Us little guys, we gotta have tips and tricks, you know, to work these big machines. I went the cheaper route, and I'm not too stoked on that. I went to Harbor Freight, and obviously the trolling motor mount, most boats have them. I decided to mount a winch mount to it and kind of use the Harbor Freight cheaper option, which, you know, clicks onto here, you run the cables back to your battery. Yes, I have gotten unstuck with it. No, it's not easy and fun. I would highly recommend a built-in winch. They cut out the front. You'll see that in Dylan's boat setup when we set up his gear for the season. He's got the winch that you want. So upgrade that we'll be doing to my boat is installing a built-in, like, 6,000 pound waterproof winch inside of the boat, built to the frame. We get asked all the time. I think the #1 question we get at NOK is, what's your guys' decoy spread? Everybody sees, you know, the photos and the limiting out, and they're like, what are you guys doing? What's your spread? I'm a little bit more old school, guys. I kind of keep it, being the camera guy, I have a lot of technology and electronics to maintain, batteries for the cameras, lights, microphones, all that stuff. So one thing I don't like to think about when I go hunting is, do I have batteries for my decoys? A lot of the buddies that I take out, they have that dialed, so I don't really worry about it. My decoy spread looks a little different. I run about 3 dozen decoys in the boat at all times. I think that's a good amount. If you're hunting with buddies, you know, you could throw 4 or 5 dozen out, but I think if you have 2 to 3 dozen, you're hunting. I keep it pretty simple. I run 12 mallards, like 6 pintail, or sorry, 12 mallards, 12 pintails, and then some widgeon, and kind of honestly like a handful of shit. Like, I don't overthink it. But one thing I would recommend doing is, if you're hunting with buddies, is a little trick I do is I spray paint the bottom. So that's something I do going into every season is I'd say pick a color. That way when you guys are cleaning up at the end of the day, you don't have your decoys ending up in your buddy's bag. So we're gonna kind of go through, we're gonna paint the bottom of these decoys, get them all ready for the season, and then kind of the box that everything stays in and the hunting buckets, I kind of give them a fresh paint job. So yeah, let's get into it.
You guys see how dirty these decoys are? You guys want to keep them pretty dirty because you don't shoot fully plumed birds the first couple weeks. So if you wash them, you're doing it wrong. So keep them dirty. Don't wash them at the end of the season unless you do, or don't be afraid to get them all dirty again.
One thing that I like about doing this is you realize weights that you've lost, and you can replace those. Nothing's worse than getting out like first day of the season and you throw out your decoys and like 4 of them are floating away, which has definitely happened to us. So it's just something about maintaining your gear and letting it last. I've had these decoys for 6 seasons now, doing this exact same thing every year. And then kind of like what Dylan was saying, I do not recommend washing any of this stuff. Not only will it add to our camo effect that we're going to do to our buckets, but guys, This shit gets beat up every year. There's no sense in wasting time cleaning them, and that also makes them look less realistic because when is a bird completely shiny plastic? They're dipping in muddy water all day. So grab the spray paint, paint the bottoms. I wouldn't overthink this. Don't spend too much time on it. They get beat up every year. As long as you got a colored belly and you can tell them apart from your buddies, you're good.
Third part, you let your buddies spray paint your stuff.
Look at this, dude. This is gonna work.
Oh, that actually might be good.
Not working. All right, maybe by stencils.
Buy stencils.
I thought this would work.
How did you do these though? Was that with stencils?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I tape stencils.
Also, guys, don't listen to Scooter. His painting tricks and.
All right, we talked about the boat, the motor, kind of the internal setup, the decoys. We got our seats here. Obviously, use whatever seat you want. Just don't be like us and forget a seat where you're having to sit on an ammo box like Dylan did our first hunt together. But yeah, guys, this is the boat. Freaking 103 degrees out here. We can't wait for it to cool down, get some ducks migrating, and get the season going. Definitely send us photos of your guys' boats, your guys' setups. We love seeing what you guys are building and making for the hunting season. I think that's the funnest part about duck hunting is I had just as much fun building my kayak or my first 12-foot John boat to building out this boat. So let us know what you guys are doing, and can't wait to see it.
Let's try this.
That kind of works. Oh, that worked.